Alpha male concept is a myth. When you study it, I break it down as well. There is no battle between two wolves to see who's going to lead the wolf pack. The leaders of the wolf pack are the breeding pair, the male and female.
Today years old.
Listen, you can Google that. It's out there. So in other words, from a human standpoint, the alpha wolves are those that are married. And then when you look at my brothers who often proudly boast being alpha, when you really look at them, when I meet with them, they're trying to hide behind the childhood trauma, the insecurities, the fears. Your whole embodiment is to please women, from the glasses to the cigars, to the big Bugattis, to the Ferraris, to the shoes, to the clothes. But yet you're the alpha, but yet your whole life is geared around pleasing women. And we don't see it because we've been conditioned to believe that we are to lead by intimidation. Those aren't the greatest leaders. If that was the case, we would have great peace in this world. So I lead by example, not intimidation. And that's why it's important, especially for our young brothers. You know, I had made an acronym for the word thug, which is a traumatized human unable to grieve. And so that's why if I step on your shoe, you're ready to hit me or pull your gun out and shoot me, why you can't take disrespect, you can't even process it to keep yourself in an advantageous position. Now you do something, you react instead of respond. Now you like this and the police taking you away. And you lost the real fight because you haven't ruled your emotions. You only got two characteristics, provide and protect. And you don't even know how to do those well. We provide for everyone else but us, brother. And I ain't talking about financially, but being able to rest.
Yeah.
You know, and we understand sleep, which is a physical act of just resting. But rest is the spiritual act. Rest is Hebrew for Sabbath.
Yeah.
It restores you completely. That's why brothers have a hard time taking naps when their wives come home. We jump up like, I gotta keep working. Our identity, when you're only masculine, your identity is in doing. You're not a human being, you're a human doing. I gotta keep moving, I gotta keep working, I gotta keep grinding. When you look at the word grinding, we know as men of God that words are powerful. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. The word grinding means to wear down, to crush, to oppress. You yell grinding in a machinery shop, they hitting stop, boom, stop, something's wrong. Because when you're grinding, you're wearing down. That's why the majority of people who say they grind look wore out.
Yeah.
And so I believe that the Most High has called me, like, men are tired of suffering in silence. We see now, like, wait a minute, there's more to life than just doing.
Right.
But until you have enough courage to be authentic and really express, like really allow like Christ to live through you, you'll never really fulfill what you're called to do. And that's why I'm thankful for my mom, that experience. I never thought I would be thankful that my mother developed dementia and I had to endure all that I had. But now, where I am as a man, I wouldn't trade it.
You can take any example from nature you want. You know what I'm saying? Like real talk. You can, if you want to, denounce that, you can look at a different animal. Look at lions, right? There is an alpha male. Now, I do know that's true to be with wolves, but we not dogs out here. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, it's not really, you can say that. And I always talk about that with Sherm. We always say, you do garner a lot more respect in certain rooms when you are married. You know what I mean? But that doesn't mean I don't know where he was correlating, like, oh, it's a weak, you're not an alpha male if you're doing things to attract women. I don't really see how that correlates.
I don't think he was saying that. I think he was saying that not so much that they not alpha males because they doing these things to attract women, but because they made their personality about appeasing base desires of women, as opposed to actually leading something. The wolf pack, and the way I interpret it, would be extrapolated into the family. So you have people following you as a leader of that herd, or the leader of that pack, or leader of that group. And like, even if you use like the lions, they operate the same way. It's the breeding pair. It may be multiple women or multiple lionesses, but it's one male lion, and that's the leader of that.
That's the alpha, right?
Yeah. Like I agree. I think that that I was watching something the other day. I forget the name of the content creator, but he was talking about how currently the reason that Drake and the Kendrick thing is going so bad for Drake is because Drake is a beta king. And he was like, I normally don't use these terms alpha, beta, XYZ, but Drake insecurity is the reason that he, be attacked. Like every rap battle to get in, he tries to attack that family structure because that's not something he has. And based off of that, it drives him to do what he described as what the alpha male per se would do and care about the cigar, the Bugatti, the glasses, XYZ. And it's kind of out of law with hip hop, which is why it was such a push to set it straight. But adversely, I think it's out of law with nature to view men as people that are to remain single and just fuck bitches for the rest of your life and have no desire to actually move forward and start a family. So I agree with Jason on that point.
I got a question for you, Marcus, before you go, Trev. Is it possible to be married and not be considered an alpha? Like, what would disqualify you from not being an alpha if we use to kind of break it
again, I don't believe in the terminology like that. But to answer the question along the thread, I would say if you're in a relationship and you're taking orders and being belittled as a man, you putting up with things within a marriage that should not be acceptable, and you're saying the marriage is miserable because you're allowing these things to occur in a relationship where you're not being respected. You're not actually leading your family if they don't respect you, if your word don't have any meaning. So again, my main thing is if you're in a relationship with a woman and she does not respect your listening, you should not be in that relationship, let alone a fucking marriage. I think that's crazy. That's more to the point. You don't know how to draw boundaries and discern when people shouldn't be around you. So, yeah.
All right, Marcus, go ahead, Trev.
All right, so I think Marcus hit it on the head with the just the word alone, insecurities, and I think that's the main point that he was making in the beginning of that video. Whereas a lot of these men are just caricatures of what they think an alpha should be. So they're trying to project the persona of what they feel like an alpha male is, but it's really not, right? And I think almost no one has a grip on how the socio-sexual hierarchy actually is, right? Everyone wants to be an alpha, but almost no one is. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? Because everyone is at least at the top of it. When you start getting down to the very bottom of it, like an omega, then yeah, they're not necessarily necessary. But everybody else, delta is extremely important. Those are your worker bees. Those are people who keep the country going, right? So all of those are important. People don't even understand it. Most of us are using the term beta wrong, right? Because the beta would be directly under an alpha, which would basically be equivalent to like a vice president. And most people would not disrespect a vice president. So most of us don't even understand how it really works. We're just thinking of alpha and beta, and it doesn't really work like that. There's so many more inside of the socio-sexual hierarchy. And I think that's the problem. Everyone is trying to be an alpha because you don't really get any respect unless you are. But that's not how most of us operate. And it's not necessary for us to operate like that. There are some people who are designed to lead, and then some people who are designed to keep it going. And it doesn't mean that you're of any less significance. You don't hold that particular title. We all are as important, maybe not equally important, but we should be equally respected, right? And I understand how people really want to be that, and that's where he's talking about like this. It sounded like he was describing Andrew Tate to me with the cigars and the Bugattis and the and all of that. But again, it really is just a caricature of what they feel like it should be like, and to me, it shows weakness, right? It absolutely insecurity, because if you feel like you have to project that all the time, then you don't understand how it works. You're not leading anything. You're not being constructive. You're not contributing to society. people who are alphas don't need to claim it, right? You don't have to say anything. The people who see you step into the room will understand it. It's not to be. No one has to say it. That's a problem, and that's the whole list exactly in order. And all of those are important. I could describe each of those, but it's like, yeah, people need to understand that it's not just alphas and betas out here.
Yeah, the word is definitely thrown around. I think that I believe that I believe that you can be an alpha if you understand your role. We can all be in the same room, and maybe Rilla, he's stronger in this area to lead this group of men because maybe he's the eldest, right? We all respect his elderhood. So us as alphas, we understand that in this area, in this space, we're gonna let Rilla do his thing. But if we're in a different environment, then all right, I know this is Hink thing. So we're gonna let him, you know what I'm saying, take lead. I think that that's what an alpha is, in my opinion. You understand your role, and when the time comes, you show up and do what it is that's expected of you.
Yeah, let me piggyback off that real quick. So I told JR a long time ago, like, if you Jordan, I'm Pippen. I know my role. In my real life, in my everyday, like, I'm a leader of people. Like, that's what I get paid to do. I lead people. That's at work. But because I do want brothers to understand, like, knowing your role is pivotal. It's crucial. You got to know how to read the room and how to play your part. If Pippen was trying to be Jordan when he should have been Pippen, we wouldn't have 6 rings. We would not have 6 rings. You understand what I'm saying? Or if Rodman was trying to be Pippen, or Derek Harper was trying to be Jordan. You understand what I'm saying? Like, everybody got to know how to play their position, and 1000%. You are not alpha all the time. I think that I'm about to curse. That I think that word gets thrown around way too loose, and people have no idea. You're just masking and projecting some of that insecurity and hurt. We see that in gang culture. A lot of cats that thump their chest, claiming to be, they the made chief, or they the made lieutenant, they the made general, whatever they calling over, right? That's just them. There's a little boy deep down inside scared. You understand what I'm saying? He just ain't had a hug from his daddy or somebody. You understand what I'm saying? So I think just knowing your role and understanding that it's all fluid. It's all fluid. You're not an alpha 1000% of the time. I'm on mute.
Well, I know as far as that word, I don't really subscribe to that word. I mean, I just don't. But I know what a leader is. And I know what I need to do as a leader and what's my role in my home, in my life, and how I operate and move. So that alpha part, I don't really buy into the concept. I mean, I understand why people say it, and it's cool, you know what I'm saying? But I think like y'all fellas were saying, does the word get thrown around loose? Yeah, a lot of it do. Because some of these dudes that call themselves that's not what they are. Because when you find out what's really going on, they don't have their leadership. They not even showing at home. They kowtow to the wives. They kowtow to the girlfriends. To their own kids. The kids are more of a leaders in the household than they are. So no, I don't really buy into that concept. So, but that's just my opinion, though.